Josh Engelman. That's right, filling in for Adam Shar
Deeper Dive remix today.
For God knows what reason. But
Gotta
we're
go to
here.
the Wizards game.
Yeah. I was gonna try and just give him the benefit of the doubt, even though I knew it was going on. But what are you gonna do?
I just assume that he's like he's trying to hunker down since he's gonna get his final loss in Thrive today. That's what I'd be doing if I were him.
Well, we've got an 8-gamer.
We do.
And we've got a considerable amount of injury news. Let's just talk about that first and see where you think it has the biggest effect. Now, first of all, the players that are out, and I'm not talking about like Luke Mahamute and those players. Dennis Smith Jr. and Ntilikina are still out for the Knicks. Well, Ntilikina's still out. Smith Jr.'s out. Drew Holiday and Etuan Moore are still out for the Pelicans. Chris Paul is out resting for Houston. They're still 12-point favorites at home against Phoenix. Tyler Johnson's out for that Phoenix team. Tyson Chandler, LeBron James are out. Josh Hart's questionable. Cody Zeller's doubtful. Reggie Jackson's questionable after turning his ankle late in Wednesday's game. Ariza's questionable. And I will mention Sam Decker too, because if both of them sit, that's more depth that's lost. A lot here. I mean, I think I mentioned Cody Zeller doubtful. And that's a lot. That's a lot for an 8-gamer.
It's so much. It's so much influx, and so much has already happened. But for some reason I like the slate a lot today.
So do I. There's a lot of value already.
There is. Yeah, I've got myself a nice glass of wine to enjoy this deeper dive. It's gonna be a good day, I think. I'm gonna put the stomps on Adam once and for all. It's great.
It was 68 degrees here in the Philadelphia area today. Very nice.
76 here right now, but I felt my air conditioning kick on before. I wasn't happy about it. I needed to change the levels on the thermostat.
Yeah. Well, you're in a nicer climate than I am. But
sure.
That's nice. But we'll make sure to stick entirely to basketball. There was a comment yesterday in the strategy show. I said, WTF, where's the basketball? And I thought to myself, all right, yes, once in a while, Josh and I might go on a tangent. Yesterday, my fault. I started it. But it's 5 minutes of 2 hours.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yeah. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah. Someone said, Laffy gives good analysis, but man, he likes to talk.
That's true. It's spot on.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm sorry. That's just who I am.
It happens. What are you going to do?
I didn't even do any drugs yesterday morning. All right. Let's get it started then, man. We've got 3 games at 7 Eastern, 3 at 8 Eastern, 1 at 8:30 and 1 at 10:30. So 2 island games. Those games, fortunately, we're not really waiting on any news. That's the good thing. The news that we're waiting on is coming in most of these earlier games, including the 8th. So that's kind of nice. And we've already gotten a lot of news. So we'll kick it off with Washington and Charlotte.
Okay.
These teams faced each other a week ago. Marvin Williams, Jeremy Lamb had really big games for the Charlotte Hornets. On the other side of that, Bradley Beal continues to play quality basketball. He had a pretty rough game in that one by his standards.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, it's a pretty appealing game. Right now, it has the highest total on the slate, Josh, at 233. Let's start with the Washington Wizards.
Let's do it. They're not garnering as much exposure from the public on DraftKings, at least, as I would have expected. Satoransky's at 13, Beal at 18, Portis at 21. And for the most part, I agree with all of those guys. I have very similar numbers to all three. Wizards have a really nice game total. Beal plays a ton of minutes. Portis is kind of underpriced now somehow, and now I'm on him after not being on him the last couple days. And I'm just perpetually on Satoransky, especially when he's $1,100 cheaper on DK than he is on FanDuel. So I'm kind of just following the public in this game on both sites, except for Jabari. I have an oddly large amount of Jabari Parker on FanDuel.
Do you?
Yeah. I've double the field. Field's at 12. I've got 25. I think it's just a matter of his salary working at like the middle of small forward. It's not that I see him as super comparable to Ariza if he plays, Gay, Richardson, Batum, Winslow. Like I don't see big differences there, but for some reason, Jabari Parker is in most of my top lineups.
Look, I don't have it. I don't have an issue with it either. Small forwards terrible on FanDuel, and had that Mo Harkless news not broke, it would have been even worse because at least you have like a drop candidate in Jake Layman that we'll talk about.
Yeah,
but it's really bad, no question. Terrible position. LeBron James, even if he was active, you weren't going to feel confident playing him.
No.
Miami or Giannis is facing Miami, but we'll talk about James Harden shortly. It's really tough to get anywhere that you like there. I will say, though, I don't have any issues with Bobby Portis here. Last game was rough. He struggled against Orlando. They've been playing better defense lately, though, significantly. Front court defense pretty much everywhere over the last month and a half. They've been towards the top of the league. This one, way better. I mean, way better. Portis last week against them, 23-9, 42 fantasy points in 25 minutes. Look, if he gets upwards of 30 minutes again tonight, I think you should be expecting really solid numbers from him. And I'm waiting on this Ariza news because if Ariza happens to sit, it's a game time decision. He generally doesn't miss games. So as of now, I'm expecting him to play. But if he doesn't play, you're going to get added minutes from Jeff Green, who at a weak small forward position on FanDuel at least gives you a little bit of depth where you say, yeah, he'll probably play 36 minutes here.
Yeah, if Ariza ends up out, Jabari, Jeff Green, Troy Brown all become very, very interesting. Troy Brown in particular, 30. He's the flat min on both sites. Almost has to play like 25-ish minutes. Really hard to avoid after that.
Right, and you just consider what Ariza's been playing. He got, last game played 22 minutes. Prior to that, 37, 41, 32, 35. Like huge minutes for Ariza.
Right. By the way, apparently it's Jabari's birthday.
Oh, don't do that to me.
Yeah. Just saying. That's why I'm getting twice the field. I checked the birthday narrative box in my spreadsheet.
Well, I was going to say your projections account for that. Yeah,
sure.
Very advanced.
Of course.
Very advanced.
I do have everyone's birthday in my database.
For that reason?
No, to do like aging adjustments.
Right. Okay. That's what I would have assumed.
But I really I could.
You actually could. Oh my God. Could you imagine when you put your projections out each day on awesomeo.com, you just have like balloons next to the one.
I was going to say like a little cake emoji.
Yeah.
Dave would love that. He loves those smiley faces on another app.
Yeah. Anything else for Washington? I'm not really getting to Beal today. There are so many other good guard options that I don't see the need to pay. Not saying he's a bad play. He rarely is, particularly on DraftKings, but not getting a whole lot.
I'm basically just with the field on everything at the top. Beal, Portis, Satoransky.
Okay. On the other side, I mean, Marvin Williams hasn't played in 5 days, so he's fresh. He was playing big minutes every night. He's $4,600 on DraftKings, small forward, power forward eligible. On FanDuel, he's $5,600 at power forward. I like Marvin Williams here, just based on the fact that he should get these minutes against the Washington team that, number one, against power forwards this year, take this for what it's worth, but they have been so bad. 28th in points, 30th in rebounds, 30th in assists, 29th in fantasy points allowed. So across the board, they've struggled. Marvin scored 30 on him last time out, 30 real points. I just see him being too cheap for the minutes, the pace up spot, the highest total on the slate. I have quite a bit of interest in Marvin Williams here.
Yep, same here. He's at 26% expected ownership on DraftKings right now. I've got 36, perfectly happy there. If I get more than that, I don't totally mind. I don't want to get too crazy because when push comes to shove, he is Marvin Williams. But right. I've got a lot of exposure to just the Hornets in general because of this game. Nice little pace up spot for them. So on top of Marvin Williams, it's Hernan Gomez, which I only have at 22 minutes and still can't stop getting. So
me too.
I can, the ways that can get better are plentiful.
Yeah, I mean, Hernan Gomez is producing 1.2 fantasy points per minute this season, at least according to on DraftKings scoring. if you got 24 minutes from him, which is what he played last time. Biyombo played only 7 minutes off the bench. Kaminsky played 22. If you get 22 to 24 minutes from Hernangomez, you certainly don't need a career game from him against a clearly bad Washington front court defense. And I pointed this out to Adam yesterday that if you look at Washington's front court defense since the trade deadline, it doesn't look that bad, but they've also faced very few quality centers. So I'm not saying Hernangomez is a quality center.
No.
I'm saying I wouldn't look at that and say, man, they've really bolstered that interior defense, because that is not the case.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. I'm not really like it wouldn't shock me if he played like 12 minutes today.
Oh, I mean, shit, anything can happen when it comes to Borrego. If he played 12 and Biyombo played 22, wouldn't be a surprise.
No, not at all. It would be really annoying too.
We can only go off what we've seen, and last time he got the minutes. So, and another thing too, Josh, he's 3,200 and 3,700 on FanDuel.
Right, really, it's hard for him to totally kill you. I just
free,
have so much of this team. I have some Kemba. I've got quite a bit of Jeremy Lamb.
Yeah.
A little bit of Kaminsky on FanDuel. It's so much.
I like Lamb more than Kemba, and it's for one reason. I don't want to act like this is a huge thing, but it does come into play for me. Washington's done a spectacular job of limiting ball handlers in the pick and roll this year, and Kemba Walker leads the league in pick and roll points.
Yeah.
And one of the league leaders in pick and roll frequency. Jeremy Lamb doesn't really rely on that in order to produce his scoring. He's a lot cheaper. So that is one spot where I definitely like Lamb a little bit more. Wizards allowing 0.8 points per possession in the pick and roll this year. It is a really low mark. It's the one spot where they've actually been really good.
Yeah, I'm with you on Lamb over Kemba. Not that I have when Kemba gets to 8,200 on DraftKings,
sure,
matchup goes out the window, and you can't just totally ignore him. But I have twice as much Lamb as I do Kemba today. There's just too many other guys for someone that only has point guard eligibility.
No question, and some cheap point guards that we're going to get to in really good spots. But this game overall does have a lot. Is there any Batum interest? Anyone else that we haven't talked about before we move on?
I don't think so. I have very, very small, basically whatever comes of Batum, in the 4 to 5% range. He's not out of play, but he's not a priority at all.
Yeah. Adam mentioned it the other day on the strategy show. You had mentioned some of the standings and how it affects these teams.
Yeah.
The Hornets are only 2 games back of a playoff spot right now. And you have them, the Magic, the Heat, the Pistons, all of them battling for position or to get into the playoffs alone. With that said, or with that in mind, the one thing we can feel confident in is that unless this game washes out early, Borrego is going to continue to give Batum and Lamb and Walker and Williams really big minutes, because this is a must-win game.
Yeah, both teams desperately need this. They are separated by a game and a half.
Yep.
538 has them separated by a game and final projected record. They both have roughly 10% chances to make the playoffs, so a pretty big game.
Yep. Might only have 10% chance, but they're not giving up here. So keep that in mind. Let's talk about Detroit and the Lakers, who have what does 538 have their chances to make the playoffs? Are they
less than 1%?
I was going to say, I would assume one more loss and one more win from whoever's in 8th, and then they're probably mathematically eliminated.
Everybody is greater than 99% for the West now. They're basically set in stone.
Okay. Everyone. Yeah, that makes sense, because the Kings are 6 games back or 5 games back, and they're in 9th place.
Right. Yeah, the Clippers are projected to be the last team in the West at 46 and 36, and then they're projecting the Kings to be 9th at 39 and 43.
I'm going to say something that you'll probably disagree with.
I'm sure.
I think Doc Rivers should be towards the top of the running for Coach of the Year.
You're absolutely right.
Oh, wow, we agree.
Yeah.
I mean, has he been great? They don't have one single great player on that team, and they have played really well. In the West, they're set to make the playoffs. I think they're better than most people assume they are.
Because I think they just don't have any like number 1 and number 2 guys, but they've got like a wealth of 3, 4, 5, 6 types.
Right. They're full of glue guys.
Yeah.
That all know how to play well with each other.
Right. But I don't disagree with you. Yeah. Doc's done a great job this year.
And they lost Tobias Harris and continue to get it done. So really impressive team. Anyway, we've got the Detroit Pistons and the Lakers. The Lakers are 12-point. Now, I want you to really think about this, Josh, and to those of you watching today's Deeper Dive, I want you to really think about this. The Lakers are 12-point dogs against a team that has scored 74 and 75 points over their last 2 games.
That's not a lot of points.
And they're still 12-point favorites because they're facing the LeBron James-less Lakers.
Yeah, the Lakers are putrid.
It's bad. Love Andre Drummond though, and I haven't been on Blake. Even last game, I had big concerns about this specific matchup, being able to score in the paint against Miami, and he struggled. He's down to 77 on DraftKings, 84 on FanDuel. Him and Drummond, I love both of these guys today. Willing to buck the notion of not playing Blake, and will continue to play Drummond, who is egregiously sub 9K on DraftKings. Josh.
Yeah, I have a ton of both of these dudes. 52% of Blake, 36% of Drummond. On FanDuel, it's 44 and 38. Like I'm all over these guys. You can't get away from them. It's too good.
Is there anything specific you love about this matchup?
That their price tags?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the answer. I mean, Drummond's been playing at, a really crazy level. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. He's like the 12th highest points per minute guy over the last 30 days. He's just on a different level right now. But it's the Lakers without like most of their talent.
Yeah, it's really bad. For those of you who like the statistical aspect of this, Lakers allowing the 2nd most putback points in the league and 4th most rebounds to their opponents. Yes.
Well, at least Andre Drummond doesn't get a lot of his stuff like that.
Exactly. You think Drummond might be good for this specific spot?
You would think so. Cue up 2 fouls in 90 seconds.
Yep. And then the 4th after he returns for 4 minutes.
The Zaza smash. Or the Thon McCurr smash.
Yep, but I don't even care.
No,
I don't care. Yeah, whatever risk you want to tell me that there is, I am not worried about it. Bill Dell asked, is Drum and Griffin viable on FanDuel tournaments, Josh?
Yeah. Ooh, Tyreek Hill under for battery again. Shocking. Yeah, I have 44% Blake and 38% Drummond. I will have them both. I'll have them both.
Battery involving a child.
Oh, that's not what's in the tweet in our Slack channel. That's way worse. Way worse. But we knew he was a shitty person even before that tweet.
Yep. Mind you, it says involving a child. I don't know if a child was witnessing it or whatever. I mean, this is all alleged. I'm literally just seeing the link. All I've seen is the headline. So I don't know anything outside of that, but not good. Not good.
No.
First Kareem Hunt, now possibly Tyreek Hill. Whew, that could be rough. We will not keep you updated on that because we're talking basketball, and I wouldn't want to upset anybody.
We're already going to not have enough time to talk basketball.
We'll be all right because here's the thing. I'm looking at it. There are
the late games suck.
Right. There are a couple of games where we really will not spend much time.
Yeah.
I don't mind spending some additional time here. I want to ask you about the backcourt though.
Sure.
I am not a big Reggie Jackson guy when Ish Smith's healthy. You all know that because of the minutes. I think both of them are viable today.
Yeah.
And not in the same lineup, of course, but both of them are viable. And if Reggie Jackson's out, Ish Smith becomes a premier value play everywhere. This is a big one to keep an eye on.
It really is. Reggie Jackson's at a really decent price, $4,300 on DraftKings. And then I have him in right now, and I'm still getting 16% Ish Smith on FanDuel at 4K. So I can't imagine what that changes to if I can bump him up to like 28, 29, 30 minutes. I have interest in both of them. We're on the same page.
Yeah. Oh man. I usually don't like the Pistons this much. I can tell you that much.
No, that's what happens when you play a garbage team and get a giant pace-up matchup against a dog shit defense.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much either of these guys I'm on board with. Drummond and Blake, obviously. God.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot.
Achilles asked, "What is?" This is actually a good question, though. From Achilles saying, just going back real quickly, what does Kemba do in the pick and roll when Zeller sits? Do they utilize Marvin, Willie, Biyombo, or do they become shooting dependent at that point? It's a good question. I don't specifically know, but my guess is that he becomes less effective in the pick and roll, which is more reason for me to have, some slight concerns. But it is.
I mean, we've seen him be significantly worse from a fantasy perspective with Cody Zeller off the floor, so I can only imagine that he doesn't get better in that spot.
Right, for sure. Lakers side of the book. You would really think that with LeBron out and Ingram out, that that they would be teaming with value. What are you doing with them?
Begrudgingly playing a couple.
Yeah,
mostly the guys I feel like I can trust the most. So I have a little bit of Kuzma. I think that's reasonable. I have a little bit of JaVale. If they don't play JaVale a lot today, what in the world is Drummond going to do? He's the only body out there that they have. There is no Tyson Chandler today to save them for a rotation.
I was honestly thinking that we could see Walton playing McGee and Wagner alongside each other.
Sure, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But that, if JaVale McGee plays 18 minutes, what does Drummond's final line look like?
God.
This not even trying to be funny, but he should score every time down the floor. They don't have no one else on that. It's not Muscala or Jonathan Williams or Mo Vaughn. Those guys are not stopping him.
They can't.
They physically can't. They're not comparable human beings.
No, there's a big misconception that just because JaVale McGee is good at blocking shots means he's good. Anthony Davis is out.
Good.
So there you have it. The site's getting out of control. Yeah, JaVale McGee, just because he's good at blocking shots, does not mean that he's a stellar defender.
No, not at all. He's just simply bigger than everybody else on the Lakers.
Right. Wagner's honestly, he's an interesting tournament play to me.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, with everything opening up, I don't think it's necessary. The other day I was willing to take a heavier risk on him when there wasn't a lot of value. There is a good amount of value on this site, at most positions. So I don't think it's a necessity, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did see elevated playing time with LeBron out. If Kuzma moves to the 3, look, Ingram's out obviously for the season and LeBron's out. So there are a lot of minutes or a lot of voided minutes. Yeah, I could see that being the case. By the way, it looks like there was some inaccurate. Let me wait on this. Tweeting. I'm seeing discrepancies.
For who?
For Anthony Davis. I'll let you know.
Chris Haynes is saying that he's out.
Yeah, we'll let you know when we actually get verification here. Initially, it looked like he was out. So, okay, what is your exposure to the Lakers players today?
I have no one more than Kuzma at 16% on FanDuel. Everybody is either in the single digits or I've got 11% KCP on DraftKings right now. I'm a little surprised. Maybe I'm just totally off base. We're projecting him for 1% ownership.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. You're talking about Kuzma?
No, he's at 6. KCP is at 1.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Look, I'm not a big KCP fan, but they're pretty short on bodies here. He has to play a bit, right?
Yeah.
I have him in for 30 minutes.
I have him at 26.
Even if I dropped to 26, I still want him more than 1% of the time at 30, whatever the hell 100.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's a tough one, though. Again, this Lakers rotation continues to throw me for a loop.
Yeah.
We'll move on, though. Philadelphia and Sacramento. The Philadelphia 76ers, 10-point favorites, 231.5 total. Kings coming off a road loss to Boston last night, playing their second of a back-to-back. They're not mathematically out of it yet, but it doesn't look good. And Dave Yeager continues to play them like they are one game back, Josh.
Did you see the interview with De'Aaron Fox?
I did not.
Some interviewer asked him like a question about how he feels about like having to win every game moving forward and how important they are. He called it a dumbass question.
That's great.
He gives like a half-assed answer and just like mumbles under his breath. He's like, dumbass question, bro.
Good. He should have.
Yeah.
He absolutely should have.
It's like, of course we want to win every game. What the fuck?
Right. And we need to win every game.
Right.
On the Philly side, I don't have a ton here, but I will say Joel Embiid played 34 minutes in his second game back from that 8-game, I think it was, hiatus, played 34 minutes. He is as good as he was before he left. He's a 1.63 fantasy point per minute guy on the season, 1.52 since the deadline when Tobias Harris arrived, facing a Kings team that is dead last in rebounding allowed to opponents and dead last in rebounding allowed to opposing centers. Joel Embiid at 9,900 on DraftKings to me is still a very enticing play. What do you have, if anything, from the Sixers today?
I don't have anyone more than 10% on either site. I got 7% Embiid. I got 6% Simmons. Simmons at 8,500 on DraftKings is just kind of too cheap. I don't really have anything else here. I have very little interest in Philly, which surprises the hell out of me because of the pace of this game. But they have too many guys taking away from each other that it's hard to like rip one from the pack.
Embiid's the only one for me, really.
Yeah.
I'm not even surprised anymore that these guys aren't as appealing as you would think, just because they're not super cheap. But Embiid, if he's going to play 34, 35 minutes here at 9,900, I can definitely get on board with that. I mean, that's something that I have no issues with whatsoever. Reggie Jackson is active for the Detroit Pistons.
Good.
So he is playing. We have that news. That's good. Yeah, Joel Embiid, though, right now projected at like 19% on DraftKings, which sounds about right at that price point. I don't have an issue with that. Andre Drummond,
it feels a little high to me, just knowing where the rest of the prices are at center.
I think there's something psychological about that price point coming down from 5 figures to 4.
Oh, well, I think that he's getting like yeah, that's what you're saying. Never mind. I wasn't really listening the way that I should have been. I was going to be like, yeah, I think there's something there in it being 99 instead of 10K.
Why do you think stores price things at like $19.95 instead of $20 even?
I don't know, but it's annoying as shit. Who the fuck wants to use pennies?
Because it's psychological, bro. Oh, man. Anyway, Sacramento. De'Aaron Fox is pretty cheap. He's playing huge minutes. My concern, Josh, is that Yeager is finally raising the white flag. They're on the second of a back-to-back on the road. We've seen him do strange stuff in road games, especially back-to-backs this year. I do have some concerns that you will see some of these starters get the leash tightened up a little bit now that there's no real shot.
Yeah, and even more interesting to me, do we get any word on Bagley?
Not yet.
Okay. I have him in for 20 minutes again. Adam and I went through this pretty in depth on the show earlier today. Like the impact of Bagley coming back and them apparently playing Bielitsa still really crushed Bogdan's minutes.
Well, they started Bagley or Bielitsa.
I know, it's craziness.
Yeah.
So right now, Buddy Hield at 6,800 on FanDuel is ludicrous. I have 20% there. I don't have anybody else in double digits of ownership. I'm just really not on this game.
Me neither. Otto Porter is active. So I mentioned the same thing on the other yesterday, that the fact that Bielitsa was back in the rotation even when Bagley was out was enough to say, yeah, I don't want to target any of these wing players because it seemed as though he got out of the doghouse. So no, thank you. Anyway, I think we can move on. If there was one guy, like you said, Buddy Hield, FanDuel, and then De'Aaron Fox at 69 on DraftKings, that's really not bad. It is still a high total, fast-paced game. You could do worse than Fox, but I don't see anyone being a priority here. Embiid's my favorite play from this game overall. Who's your top play from this game as it is?
On DK, the guy that I have the most is Hield at 9%, but I have Giles at 8, Fox at 7, Embiid at 7, Simmons at 6. So it's like, it's just, they're all in that same sort of pack. It's Hield on FanDuel, I don't think is close to anybody in this game.
All right. This one we should be able to get through rather quickly. Miami and Milwaukee.
Oh.
The Milwaukee Bucks are 5-point road favorites, 219.5 total. Two very solid defenses. Josh, this is actually a game that I really have virtually no interest in outside of maybe small amounts of one or two players.
Yeah, so I can write Milwaukee off completely. I've got 2% of Giannis on FanDuel, 1% on DraftKings, 1% of Bledsoe on FanDuel. I don't have another buck.
Sounds about right.
I do need to touch on two things on Miami. They have some really stupid pricing on FanDuel. Justice Winslow is 5,800 on both sites. I have 15% of him on FanDuel. And then Richardson is 6,200 on FanDuel, 5,800 on DK. His price has come back down to where it belongs. And in a pace-up spot, and, he is generally speaking like the most consistent minute getter here for the Heat. If he gets his normal run, I'm going to get quite a bit of Richardson, especially on FanDuel, where we all know small forward sucks.
Yeah, it's simply a product or a byproduct of the position being so bad.
It is.
You get any. I don't. If this was a better slate with even a couple additional options, Richardson would barely be a tertiary type option, at least in my opinion.
I'm totally with you. It's not something I'm particularly fond of.
Right, but he's there, and
right.
He's not any riskier than the other guys priced around them.
I mean, he's the least risky of all in that, like, he doesn't suddenly play like 18 minutes in a game.
Right. Nope, it makes sense to me. Do you want? I think we can move on from this one and talk about some good games.
Let's do it.
Phoenix and Houston had a bomb dropped on us earlier today that Chris Paul was ruled out for rest purposes.
I think he was my favorite play on the slate at that point.
Yeah, he was 60. Yeah, it was a good one. Houston still 12-point favorites, 225 total at home. You have James Harden. We don't even I will mention them just quickly. Without Chris Paul on the floor this year, 1.78 fantasy points per minute, 44% usage, 47% assists, 10.5% rebounding. Pretty good.
Yep.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Suns allow the most fantasy points, second most rebounds, fourth most assists, and most steals to point guards this year, which is where Harden will be playing most of this game. Yeah, he's pretty appealing.
Not too shabby here today. I have 64 on FanDuel and 65 on DraftKings.
Sounds about right. Maybe a little low, but sounds about right.
Yeah. It's I can't imagine going a different direction.
No, I don't know how you would. It's impossible to get away from, and there's really no reason to.
No,
What about guys like Eric Gordon and Austin Rivers who will benefit from Paul's voided minutes?
Yeah, so this part makes me sick. I've got a lot of Austin Rivers. So first and foremost, I want to know how many minutes you have Rivers projected for. Because if you tell me like a significantly lower number than what I have, I'll feel a lot better.
34. Sorry.
Shit. Okay, I have 32. I got 46% of Rivers on FanDuel right now. I've got 20% on DraftKings at 3,100. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I know, it's rough. He's like a 0.61 fantasy point per minute guy. You need 34 minutes from him.
How many minutes did you give to Gerald Green?
24, I think. Hold on. 24.
Okay, I gave him 26, and I have 50% of him on FanDuel.
50. Oh, wow.
Again, these guys they're both the flat minimum. I don't set caps on guys in that salary range because they're functionally different. I have 20 and 23 respectively on those two guys on DraftKings, which doesn't make me feel any better.
Right. No, oh God.
I don't know what to do with them because it's Phoenix. Like, it's basically the most advantageous matchup on the slate.
Right. I think Gerald Green's a better per minute guy. Austin Rivers is surely going to play a lot more minutes.
Yeah. Rivers is the one that I don't trust because I know that like Gerald Green can get hot and like shoot himself into something fun and I'll be excited about it. Whereas I feel like Austin Rivers needs to grind that out 0.6 points at a time. Oh,
he's terrible. He's terrible, but he's going to play. What about Eric Gordon?
Not a guy that I'm getting to. I only have 2% on FanDuel. I got 14 on DraftKings, which is under the field.
Okay.
I'm at 0.82 for the game. He's just sort of there for me.
Yeah.
He's kind of in like a no man's land for salary. I either want to go a lot lower than that or up to a range of a much higher upside.
Where are you at on the front court, Clint Capela?
I have more than I want. I'd prefer to have none across the board because I just don't trust him. But he grades out, so like if I use his normal shit, he looks really good. So I'm just under the field. I'll tolerate it, but I'm really not happy about his health.
Neither am I. And center for me is deep enough to where I really don't have an issue getting away from it. I really don't. Uh, Harden is the guy here that I love. And then when you're talking about guys like Gordon and Green and Austin Rivers, it's strictly based on, with Austin Rivers, it's purely minutes. And the same can be said with Eric Gordon, really. Like, Eric Gordon is not a good per minute guy either.
No.
His fantasy point per minute rate is basically unchanged with and without Paul. It's just that he sees more minutes.
How many minutes did you give him?
Hold on. 34. What do you have?
32, but I'll probably go up to 34 as I look at. He just hasn't been playing like really big minutes over this last couple, but maybe he has to.
Yeah, he's not good. Cody Zeller's out officially, by the way.
Good to know.
You have any interest in the Suns with Tyler Johnson out? Anything here that intrigues you?
Most I have of anyone is 6% Ayton on DraftKings at 6,100. So I'm not really a part of the Suns today.
No, I think Booker's an interesting tournament play for one reason. The Rockets' best on-ball guard defender is out, and Booker is still a high-volume player. If you take Johnson off the court, Warren off the court, Cannon off the court, who started a bunch of games at the point, Ariza off the court, he's like a 34% usage guy, 34% assist, 1.25 fantasy points per minute. So,
yeah, I would never care if I got Devin Booker, but that should be relatively obvious.
Right. Yeah, no question. You're probably not going to get much Devin Booker, but I do find this as an interesting spot just based alone on his ceiling, and we know it's huge. And we know that now with Johnson off the floor, you definitely have ball handling duties exclusively for Devin Booker.
Did you give anybody anything crazy from minutes to account for Johnson being out? Because I mostly am just spread across Melton, Crawford, and Troy Daniels.
Absolutely did the same thing.
I didn't get like everybody's got like 18 basically.
Put it this way, none of them became appealing because of Johnson being out.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. No, it's too different. I think the most I have is like Melton at like 17 fantasy points or something.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, Crawford 20 minutes, Melton 22 minutes. No, I'm okay with that.
Okay,
definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, Booker's the only one, and even he's kind of tough to get to. Like you said, Ayton is discounted. I honestly don't think Ayton is that much of a value. I think it's kind of reasonable based on what we've seen from him. And Clint Capela being not healthy, but active. I mean, Ayton's cheap. That's really all there is to it. It's because he's cheap. You don't love the matchup.
No, the only thing that I like is that he looks to be like mildly under-owned for where he is. But at the same time, like it's just center eligibility, so like there's a limit to how much you can get of like the 8th center only guy that you like.
Right. So the whole Anthony Davis nonsense as we move on to New Orleans and Portland.
Yeah.
Portland 7.5 point road favorites, 234.5 total. This one's actually the highest total on the night. Do we have confirmation that Davis is out?
I mean, Chris Haynes tweeted it from Yahoo, so I trust it a little bit.
Yeah. I think
he's a Charlotte guy, right? I don't know why I said Charlotte there. I think he's a New Orleans guy.
Yeah, I'm going to go with it as well. That's all we got.
Yeah.
And he was already questionable that he might rest.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe at 8:01 he'll be active. But as of now, we'll assume he's out. How does it affect this New Orleans team for you?
It probably takes their best play off the board because he's been scoring 1.8 FanDuel points per minute over
Crazy,
the last
right?
30 days.
Crazy.
But
if he was playing 25 minutes, I'd be playing him every night at that price.
Right. I know. I have one guy. Chat's gonna love this one. This is solely from Adam. I dug into his rates a little bit. I've got quite a bit of Elfrid Payton now.
Okay.
Adam was riding hard for Payton this morning on the show. I didn't have a ton. I had just a little bit, and then I took a look deeper at his rates with Drew off. Although now I guess I probably need to take a look at them with AD off as well. But for right now, I have quite a bit of Elfrid Payton.
I don't have any problem with it. Payton's looked good, number one. Number two, with no Drew Holiday, it only makes him more appealing. And look at this team right now. You've got Payton and you've got Julius Randle. There's no more Mirotic, presumably no Davis, no Drew Holiday. Where's the usage outside of Randle?
Yeah, my worry is just how does he get an assisted bucket with a bunch of garbage on the court with him?
They'll score. They'll still score.
Yeah, I mean, look at the 113 implied total. It's not like it's 99 or something.
Yeah, they'll still score.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I'm gonna have Elfrid Payton.
Yep, and
and that's basically it.
Yeah, Julius Randle. Julius Randle has been. I mean, if you take Davis off, he's going to see an incredible amount of work, and he doesn't need to assist on anyone.
No, look, and like he's fine, but it's just like he's probably overpriced. There's so many guys at that spot that are like $600 cheaper than they should be. While I like Randall, again, it's like you can only give so much exposure to the 15th best guy at the position.
Any Okafor interest or anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, because really, Gentry has not been willing to give him bigger minutes, even when you see these injuries.
Right? Yeah, it's like I gave Okafor 16 minutes.
I gave him 20, but even so, at 20, he's all right. This is a team that's become pretty difficult.
Yep, I agree.
Does Diallo see? What do you have him at?
24.
And you're not getting any of him?
I'll have a little, but like it's not like I'm super excited about it. I'll have more on FanDuel at 4K than I will at 4,100 on DraftKings. But he's fine.
I wish there was one guy that we knew would fill in and get actual legit starter minutes. Here's the big thing, though. Davis has only been playing 21 minutes a night.
Right.
So
it's not that big of a boost.
What's that?
It's not that big of a. It's not the same boost as it normally is when it's 36 minutes.
Right. Exactly. I mean, you could take these minutes and give. Diallo plays 14 last game. Give him 7. He's got 21. Okafor played 8 last game. Maybe give him 10. Shit, give him 14 minutes, and he's still only at 22. And I don't think he gets 14 minutes there. Yeah, I don't see it happening, Josh. So
no, not for me. Not with any sort of volume.
All right. Portland side of the ball. Do you have interest here against a really bad Pelicans defense?
In two separate things. In CJ McCollum on DraftKings, he is 6,800. He's 8,200 on FanDuel, if you need to know any sort of price discrepancy. So I like CJ on DraftKings, and I like Jake Layman on FanDuel. $3,700 punt play.
Jake Layman on FanDuel is, in my opinion, the best drop play on the entire slate. And the reason I say that is because small forward is so weak.
Yeah.
So if Layman plays, what do you have him at minutes? Because Harkless is out. And well, okay, let's break it down.
24 is the answer, though.
You have him at 24. So Layman, I have him at 28.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
Only because So Harkless is officially ruled out. He had been playing 21, 23, 27, 32, 22. So let's just say an average, not an average, we'll say around 24. Uh, Layman could easily pick up a good number of those minutes. I don't mind putting them around 28 here.
What do you have Zach Collins playing?
What's that?
What do you have Zach Collins playing?
11.
Okay, so I gave Zach Collins 18.
Okay, well that's
so I
where
can give 14 to Collins and get to 28 to Layman. Like there's our difference,
right?
Which is what I expected.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to. And then Aminu, I would expect Aminu's minutes have been strange, and he's clearly been losing playing time to Layman and to Harkless, depending on the game.
Yeah,
I think Layman, even if you're giving it 24 or 28, just based on how shallow the position is and how cheap he is, which he 3,700, you don't really need to overthink it all that much. On DraftKings, he's 3,300. What are your thoughts on him there?
I got 6% on my last crunch. I could see that creep up a little bit more. I probably don't need to have like much over 10. I think he's fine, but when push comes to shove, there's a lot of value out there, and he is just Jake Layman.
He is just Jake Layman. That's where I'm at as well. Lillard, McCollum, Nurkic, Aminu.
Not really. Like I'm under the field on Lillard on DraftKings. I'm just slightly over on FanDuel, 9,900. I barely have any Nurkic. Barely have any Aminu.
All right. We got 2 games to go, Josh. Before we do, I want to let everybody know that you can get 50% off your first month, half off your first month at awesomeo.com. And it's very simple. All you have to do is use the promo code Deeper Dive. It is one word. Use the promo code Deeper Dive. Go to our homepage at awesomeo.com. Click sign up. Select your plan. Fantasy Cruncher add-on if you'd like that as well. And before checking out, click on the coupon code, put in Deeper Dive, one word, and you get 50% off, half off your first month. We also have weekly packages, so you can check out everything first. If you wanted to see all of our content behind the paywall for NBA, NHL, PGA, NASCAR, MLB coming up, ownership projections, Awesomeo himself, all of his work, his rankings, his articles, Fantasy Cruncher add-on. There's so much more. The lineup builder, projections for everything and every other sport, and all of our articles as well. Just use the promo code Deeper Dive, all one word, get half off your first month. Or you and your two of your friends can get a free month of awesomeo.com premium subscription. All you have to do is go to the awesomeo_com. That's the handle on Twitter, awesomeo_com. Check the pinned tweet and follow the instructions there. It's very simple to get entered for you and 2 of your friends to win a free month of premium content to awesomeo.com. It's our spring break giveaway. We like doing this stuff because we appreciate you guys.
Everybody loves spring break.
Everyone loves spring break. That's right.
Spring break.
All
you
right.
ever see that movie?
Which one?
Spring Breakers?
Yes.
Not bad.
I haven't seen it in a very long time. All right. New York, San Antonio.
Ugh.
Spurs are the biggest favorite on this slate. 13.5 point favorites, 215 total. Not a very fun one, but Emmanuel Mudiay is probably going to play 32 minutes with Dennis Smith Jr. out.
Free Kadeem Allen.
What?
Free Kadeem Allen.
I'm not a Mudiay hater.
I'm not a Mudiay lover, but I also have 60% of him today, so there's that.
I'm not sure his parents are Emmanuel Mudiay lovers. I just think on a slate like this, well, actually the slate's not that terrible, but given that I think he plays 30-plus minutes, I have no problem with Mudiay here.
Yep.
I like him actually a lot.
63% on FanDuel, 56 on DraftKings.
There you have it. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's the issue with today's slate. It's opened up to be like a fun slate in terms of being able to roster guys that you like, but it's opened up with a lot of things where you're not stoked about it. Where you're like, oh, I played 56% of Emmanuel Mudiay. He got 18 minutes because they played Kadeem Allen 34 of them.
Yep. Yep. Oh, I played Hernan Gomez, who played 12 minutes.
Yeah. one of those, like one of these guys that are getting a bunch of extra minutes is going to bagel bad tonight and freak people out. I love it. I live for that shit.
It is a very realistic possibility. I mean, there's just no question.
Yeah.
Which is why I think a guy like Wagner at least should be the idea of it should be entertained because, yeah, he's very risky, but Hernan Gomez is no lock to play 24 minutes either.
No, not at all.
So I will take some chances there. Why not? With the rest of the Knicks, though, they are the New York Knicks, and I will happily overlook them entirely.
I completely agree. I have a little bit of Dotson at 5K on DraftKings. That's it.
What do you have on the Spurs?
The most I have of a Spur on DraftKings is 2% of Rudy Gay.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, I hate that team. I'm so happy that I'm able to just... I honestly wanted Dennis Smith Jr. to play today so that I can completely ignore this trash.
Yeah, I hear you.
Instead, I'm dumpster diving the Knicks.
Yeah, whatever. If could Kadeem Allen or Trier get the minutes? Yeah, but I think Moutier should see a decent amount of run, and
he's been seeing it anyway. It would be really weird for him to not get a little bit more.
Exactly.
But that would be super Knicksy if he didn't.
And especially before the deadline, before Dennis Smith came over, and before he got hurt, of course, he was getting a lot of minutes. So, I mean, I get it. I like it. With the Spurs, though, like I have less interest in the Spurs than the Knicks, only because at least on the Knicks, I have one guy that I really like. On the Spurs, I don't want to pay a premium for Aldridge and DeRozan on this slate. And even if I did, I don't know how I could.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have 0 DeRozan on FanDuel. I have 0 Aldridge on DraftKings. I have 1% of DeRozan on DraftKings and 5% on FanDuel for Aldridge.
Yeah,
I'm just not there.
Well, I guess we can close it out then with our last game, huh?
Let's do it. See what happens when we're on an actual time deadline.
I know. We're doing fine, man. Doing well. Clippers, Chicago. I knew there were some games that we were going to spend no time on, too.
Yeah. Yeah, we did the same thing that Adam and I did this morning. Just There was a lot that you could just be like, nope, we're good.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Clippers and Bulls. Clippers 9-point favorites, 228.5 total here at the Staples Center. You like Lou Williams or anyone from this Clippers squad?
The guy I like the most is Montrezl Harrell. I've got 19% on FanDuel. I've got 28 on DK at 6K. I do have a little bit of Lou Will. Not as much on FanDuel as I do on DraftKings, but in the 10% FanDuel, 18% DK, that's it for me in this game, really. It's all Harrell and Lou Will.
That's about it, huh?
I don't mind getting Gallo. He's always sort of just priced exactly where he should be priced.
Exactly. Yeah, I said the other day, I was like, Gallo's not a high upside player. You're hoping for your 35 fantasy points and he drops 45.5, but that's still pretty unlikely from him. He does not do it very often, and he shot 19 times that game. But even since Tobias Harris was traded, you're not seeing a huge change, in usage from Gallinari.
No, he's just he's the same thing always. It's so weird.
Yeah, I also think is he still questionable or is he probable? He's probable.
I honestly don't know.
He's probable. Okay.
I probably won't have him.
Yeah. Me neither. I don't mind Lou Williams.
No, never.
Just because he can do some crazy stuff and he doesn't need a lot of minutes to do it. Can you prioritize Lou on this slate? I think that's difficult.
Same.
Because there are other guys that are locked into 34 minutes, whereas he would need his greatest game to play 34 minutes, which, we've seen that. We've seen him get up 34 3 times over his last 10 games. But then other games, you're seeing him way below that as well. Yeah. There is volatility with Lou Williams, which makes him great and which also makes him scary.
Yeah, you love having him on the days where he's hot and he's just like, okay, cool, I'm going to shoot on every possession.
Yeah.
Those are the fun when he gets up 20 shots in 11 minutes or something.
Right. Yeah, the days where he isn't, it gets pretty horrifying. All right, we'll close it out with the Bulls then, Josh.
Sure.
if there's one thing we can say about them, they do get a pace up spot.
They do.
They're playing, at a faster pace since the deadline. We know they made a bunch of wholesale changes to the starting lineup. Otto Porter is active, by the way, for anybody that may have been wondering. That is the case if you're interested in playing him. Chicago Bulls, since the trade deadline, are playing at, what is their pace? 18th, faster than they were earlier, but still nothing crazy. It is a significant matchup or pace boost here. Clippers playing at the third fastest pace over this span. But Chicago, not the easiest team to land on today either.
No, I have 10% Markkanen on DraftKings. That's the highest I have of anybody on the team. I have 6% Porter, 5% Levine. That's it. On FanDuel, though, I've got 38% Markkanen. He's $7,800, $200 cheaper than he is on DraftKings. I'm just not trying to pay too much attention to the fact that he hasn't been fantastic lately. And the simple fact is I expect him to play 36 minutes here. And he is, like, if you used his DraftKings price as the truth, he's like $1,200 too cheap on FanDuel. So I like Markkanen quite a bit.
Yeah.
Same for Levine and Porter on FanDuel. Like, I have a little bit of them. I don't have anybody else from the Bulls.
Markkanen has sucked.
He has not been fantastic, and I have been pounding that dude. Oh, there's a soundbite. Glad I'm producing.
The way that it was said too just made it all too perfect.
It's gonna be great when that gets to the YouTube chat in this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I was about to repeat it, but I don't want to be.
I'll cut your audio out if you do.
I don't want to be heard either.
I'll turn that into I'll get one of those things where I could just press a button and it just has you saying it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, Markkanen, you can't say he hit a rookie wall either. He's just been bad.
Yeah, he hasn't been great. 1.06 FanDuel points over his last 30 minutes per minute, obviously. But look, I'm going there on FanDuel. I can't get away from it. It's a good matchup too. There's not a lot on the Clippers side that I'm super worried about.
I think that'll do it, huh?
I think so. 6 o'clock on the dot.
Not bad. Not bad. Stick around. Live Before Lock coming up next. Thanks for filling in today, Josh. Before you head out, it's appreciated as always, and it helps us greatly. Hit that thumbs up, hit that like button if you appreciate what we're doing here. If you want to see more, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you always know when new content's going to drop next. It's been a deeper dive. Dave Lockren, Josh Ingham, and we'll see you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend. Until then, well, that's about it, Josh. I've run out of things to say.
Later, everybody.
Goodbye.